Good friend Steve Mariucci from NFL Game Day Morning here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Steve?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. Kind of a crazy day in Green Bay, to be quite honest with you. And I go way back when I was a 2-year-old. I became a Packer fan. So this has been it was a surprise. I know they're having a tough year and everything, but geez, I didn't think this would happen during the season.
Well,
really
I mean, what do you think McCarthy's thinking right now, Steve?
So I want to tell you something. This is a little fun fact. It's not real fun, but it's a fact. Okay.
Yes.
Guess where Gene Ronzani was born?
Tell me it's Iron Mountain, Michigan.
Iron Mountain, Michigan.
Come on, Steve.
Come on. He's a Yooper. He's from Iron Mountain, Michigan. And for our listeners, that's where Mooch is from. Iron Mountain.
By the way, great third person, Steve.
Well done.
My gosh, there's two eyes in Mariucci. So, but what do you think McCarthy?
So I bet Iron Mountain, Michigan is the only town in the whole country that has had 2 head football coaches in the NFL get fired during the season. Why am I laughing?
Oh man, but look, but
his
here,
father's from Italy too.
So
go ahead.
So again, when you got fired in the middle of the season after Thanksgiving, clearly that was not fun, but it did allow you to get set up with the NFL Network, et cetera, et cetera. And now look at you now. Is there any way that the Packers did him a favor? I'm seeing that a lot on Twitter, is that they wanted to get started on their search because they knew he wasn't going to stay, and there's no reason to let him be a dead man walking and coaching for 4 weeks, that they owed him the ability to get his affairs in order and not have to be that on the sidelines. What do you think, Steve?
Well, what I think is, because he's going to go through a little bit of what I went through getting fired during the season. I didn't leave the house for 3 weeks. And then Eric Weinberger from the network called me and said, "Hey, Mooch, let's work the Super Bowl." I went, "What? The Super Bowl's in Detroit. How am I going to go into that stadium?" He says, "You need to do it. Let's go." I didn't leave the house for 3 weeks. Okay, so you go through some tough times mentally, and you get you feel like you failed, and you feel like you don't want to be out. You know what I mean? Anyway, but you're right. Mike McCarthy, he's got 125 wins in the Super Bowl ring and a street named after him in Green Bay, okay? So he comes with a stronger resume than some college coach or some coordinator. So he will have opportunities. It's a matter of, he's got contract left. It's a matter of, does he want to get back on that horse again? Some people say John Dorsey over there in Cleveland, right? They work together in Green Bay. So Mike's a good coach. It just went south. It just, for a lot of reasons, and it was exacerbated by some frustration by Aaron Rodgers. 125 wins and so much success. And, there's a lot of reasons why they're not as good as they've been in the last few years, and made some changes, both coordinators. But anyway, Mike McCarthy is a good man. He's a good coach. He will land on his feet. He'll have his choice of jobs.
Yeah, I mean, that very may well be. 9 of 11 seasons, they took the Packers to the playoffs. Just 2 losing seasons in 12 years, 4 NFC championship games, and a Super Bowl win is on his resume. Again, I'm just wondering, again, does the coaching community get pissed off when you see a guy like that bounced in the middle of the season?
Every year, right? Every year I think the average is 6 or 7 coaches a year get changed out, all right? The year that I got the 49er job, there were 11 new coaches. So there are only 32, and you're talking about a high percentage changeover every year. So we come to expect it. We come to expect it with people who have a failing record and, that sort of thing, not so much guys that have playoffs and Super Bowls and success on their resume. But what kind of irks the coaching profession for the most part is someone getting fired during the season, unless something egregious happens, unless there's just a mutiny or whatever. But, to me, it's like, all right, you got 4 games left, show the man some respect and some at least some thanks, save some embarrassment during the season. And if you're going to change it in the off season. Sometimes teams do this in college and in the pros, and they say, well, we're going to get a head start on the coaching search. You know what? I call hogwash on that one. You know why? because coaching searches are going on all the time, and people are evaluating other prospects of coaches all the time. And from the start of the season, in the off season, and you know who's on your list. And yeah, I can't legally tamper and talk to that guy, but somebody can, a friend can, and someone else can to find interest with that guy's agent. So the get the head start stuff doesn't carry any water with me. But and Mike doesn't need a head start in trying to find a job. He's going to have a tour going on if he wants it with interviews. So I just don't like during the season. Let the man finish out. You know, we always teach that. You finish what you start. Every play, every practice, every season, everything you finish strong. And I think an organization should, for the most part, allow a coach like that to finish the season and then make a decision.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.